Okay, hush up. Hey y'all, what's up? It's me. It is Everything Fresh and Sassy. How are you? I hope all is well with you. I do. Mind, body, spirit, and in health. It is Thursday, I believe the 25th or the 26th of September, 2025. It is 3:57 in the p.m. I'm not going to be before you very long. An hour tops. So at 5 o'clock, I'm done. I'm gone because we're going to eat early today. Not that we have to, but we're going to. So anyway, actually, we're not going to eat early today because, no, can't tell you that because that would be untrue. Not eating early today. But anyway, how are you? How have you been? I missed you. Yes, I snuck out of the country. I was in the Middle East and I had a wonderful time there. I was in the city of Doha in Qatar. Some people say Qatar, but the people there, they call it Qatar. Qatar, Qatar. Doha, Qatar. And I kept saying Souk Waqif, and they say Souk Waqif. Souk Waqif. Souk Waqif. Yeah, that's what they say. Sound like some ducks out there or something. Anyway. So I am back. I enjoyed myself. I didn't want to come back. I wanted to stay at least 2 extra days. But then I'm glad I didn't because 2 hours after I left Hamad International Airport, the city of Doha was attacked. I'll say it that way. You can find the news stories on YouTube or Associated Press, Al Jazeera, but the city of Doha was attacked on September the 9th. That was the day that I left. But other than that, I had a wonderful time. I was a little nervous when I first got there. I have to tell you, the ride from the airport was nice, okay? And the guy dropped me off at the apartment that I was staying at. And I took my stuff upstairs, and then my son called me another Uber, because that's the best way to get around. You only pay like $1 or $2 to go wherever you gotta go. I mean, it really doesn't even make sense to rent a car, because see, if you rent a car there, and I did rent a car, and then I said, no, I don't want to rent. Let me take that back. I didn't rent the car, because when they told me how much they wanted for a deposit, I was like, no, you can't tie my money up like that. No, that's ridiculous. So maybe because I'm from the U.S., I don't know. I don't know why I got quoted so much. But anyway, I told them, that's okay. I don't need the car. You can go ahead and cancel it. So, but I kept hearing from everyone that I heard that had been there, the best thing to do is to Uber while you're there. And it really is the best thing to do. It's safe. You can send your family, friends, whoever, your location, and they can track your destination. They can track where you're going, how you're getting there, how long it's taking you to get there. They can track everything. The tag number, the car, they can track everything. So that worked out better because, see, even if you do rent a car, okay, so you rent a car. You've never been to this place before. You don't know where you're going to find parking. You don't know if they have parking. And if you do, how far do you have to walk from the parking lot? Okay. You don't know how far you're going to have to walk from parking. So it's just best to catch an Uber and have them drop you off at the front door. You don't have to worry about parking. Is this not where I'm supposed to park? Will I get towed? I don't know if they even do towing over there. I don't know. I don't think I ever saw a no parking sign any place there. I mean, if there was a business, you could park there, you know. But yeah, it was just really, really, really nice. It was something that I really needed. After my husband had gotten sick in November of 2024, we went into 2025 still kind of shell shocked after him being in the hospital, because it was a scary time. It was really, really scary. And that was November he went in. He got out in December. And then there were, of course, the elections. Right, we had just had the elections just before he went into the hospital. And then, change of power, January 1st. Or when was it? January 30th? I don't even remember, because I was really trying not to pay attention, honestly. And that was just between my husband being hospitalized and, everything that you hear that's going on, and something's always going on. I needed a break. I needed a respite, and it's just a difficult time. And my husband, how do I say this? I think a lot of government employees are on edge, given things that have occurred and things that are, going on. I think a lot of people are on edge. It's not just government employees. But anyway, I needed a break. And I really needed a break. It was so bad for me that I felt like I was negatively impacting how my family and everyone else was possibly feeling. Excuse me, y'all. Because, I was so stressed. When you're stressed, you can stress other people out. And I don't want to stress anybody out. I don't want to be stressed. So I needed to get away for my mental health, my well-being, and for everybody else's well-being. Because see, when I'm stressing, I guess I wear it on my sleeve. I'm. Look, you see the trees? The trees. Did you see the trees? The trees look bad. The trees don't look good. We're in trouble. Do you see the trees? And it's every day with me and the trees. Do you see the sky? Look, you see those lines? You see those lines? You see the lines? A broken record. I'm sounding, okay? So I needed a break. I needed a break. I really needed a break. So actually, and then someone asked me why I chose Doha, Qatar. I guess you could say maybe Doha, Qatar chose me. I think you might say that. Because what had happened was, what had happened was I wasn't even supposed to be going to, or let's say it this way, I wasn't supposed to be staying in Doha. I was supposed to have a layover in Doha. The destination was actually Phuket, Thailand. That was the destination, right? I better keep this over here. I might need it again. And the problem was my son booked my flight. I was supposed to be going to Phuket. And then I'm doing some research. He's doing some research, and he looks, and he says to me, this is the rainy season. This is their monsoon time. And I was like, well, one of the main reasons why I want to go to Phuket is to be on the beach. And trust and believe, if I had shown up there and there was nothing but rain, and it's still raining. It rains every day there now because of the monsoon season. If I had gotten there and it had rained for the entire time that I would have been there, I would have been so hurt. I would have been so very, very hurt. So I said, you know what? We have to do this Phuket thing another time. Because, like I said, one of the main reasons why I'm going is because of the beach. I want to go lay out on the beach and hang at the beach. So He changed my ticket, and I said, tell you what, since I told him when he made the flight arrangement, I said I want at least an 8-hour layover in Doha because I knew I wanted to go shopping in Doha. There's no taxes. Things there are very inexpensive. And I wanted some really nice things. So I said, well, make sure when he was making the Thailand reservations, I said, well, make sure when you make the reservation, I have at least an 8-hour layover in Doha, because if you fly Qatar Airlines and you have at least an 8-hour layover, they will provide you with a free 5-star hotel reservation for 2 nights. But you have to have, your layover has to be at least 8 hours. Now, I've heard some people complaining and saying that Qatar didn't honor that, but I only heard one person say that, so I don't know. I think maybe they might have had something else going on. I had no problems with Qatar. It was professional. It was, I would fly with them again. So, but anyway, I said I want at least 8 hours, and eventually I said, make sure I have at least a 24-hour layover. So when I found out it was monsoon season, I said, listen, just change it. I'm just going to stay in Doha. I'm not going to go on to Phuket. I'll just stay in Doha for, my little getaway. So that's what I did. I flew from Dulles Airport into Hamad International Airport. It was a 12-hour flight. I've never flown anywhere for 12 hours. Now, when I went to, these bananas, but they're hard. When I went to London, that was a 9-hour flight, non-stop, 9-hour flight to Heathrow Airport. And I thought that was a horrible airport. And I thought that their subway system was absolutely horrible. I'm like, how did the people who are in wheelchairs or people who have, handicaps or whatever, how do these people get around if you don't have escalators and you don't have elevators in your tubes? That's what they call the subway system there. They call it the tubes, right? I'm like, do you just not want these people on your subway? I didn't understand, but anyway. So I said I would stay in Doha, and that's where I spent my little vacation in Doha. I made a reservation, and I stayed at the Le Mirage Apartments, Lemirage. If I remember, I'll put it in the description. It was a beautiful apartment. It was absolutely beautiful. And I didn't even show you around everything. I mean, I think I showed you the apartment. I showed you the swimming pool. But they also had a gym. They had a party room. They had a kids room. They had a sauna. They had everything. Everything in this apartment building. They had a spa there for women. And they had everything. Bananas are mashed. They had everything. So it was a really nice place to stay. I spent a lot of time at the Souk Waqf. I loved it there. The Souk Waqf was like something out of a time machine. It was all these little alleyways and stores. They had one section with just fabric, and one section with just herbs and spices, and one section with just perfumeries. I mean, if you go on, just Google the Souk Waqf. Souk is spelled S-O-U-Q. Waqf is W-A-Q-I-F. And just put in map of Souk Waqf, right? And you'll see how they have it all together, and this place is massive. You could get lost in there. You might think you're lost at certain points, but eventually you'll come out on one of the main roadways, or not roadways, but one of the main streets of the Souk Waqf. And it's just, oh my gosh, it is such a vibe. So many restaurants, so many great places to eat, so many great things to buy. You gotta go to the Souk Waqf. I enjoyed myself so much. I went there 3 times. And going there 3 times caused me to miss seeing other things that I didn't get to see because I wanted to hang out at the souk. But anyway, I I enjoyed the souk immensely. My first night there, I was a little nervous, and I'll tell you why. When the Uber came to take me to the grocery store, because I left the airport, came to the apartment building. I wanted the same guy to take me to the grocery store, but my son sent him on because he didn't know I was going to the store, and he thought the guy was just hanging around trying to rack up some more money. And I said, no, I was going to use him to take me to the store. And he was like, okay, well, I'll order you another one. So anyway, got the second Uber, and when we're going to the store, I got very nervous because all I see is men walking around on the street. That's all I saw was men. And I'm like, oh my gosh, where are the women? What have I done? And you know what? This isn't the first time. When we went to Hilton Head, was that South Carolina? Yeah, I think it's South Carolina. Hilton Head, South Carolina. We rode through a part of South Carolina that looked like someplace I don't belong. And I was like, oh my Lord. And we went there for my husband's birthday one year. And I was like, oh my Lord, what have I gotten us into? Why did I want to come down here? But it was just that one little stretch, right? And then after that, everything was, it was fine. It was beautiful. It was wonderful. But it was just that one little section. I'm like, oh my God, what have I done? Where are we? What are we doing in this place? So anyway, I saw no women outside, none. And I'm like, what'd they do with all the women? Where are the women? And I went to a store, it's called the Lulu Hypermarket. When I tell you this place is called the Hypermarket, it's called the Hypermarket for a reason, okay? We have supermarkets. They have hypermarkets, okay? You know how you go into the store and you got maybe 3 different brands of soda to purchase, and each brand has like maybe 10 different flavors? Okay, well, if we got 3 brands and they got 10 different flavors each, they got 20 brands that each have 40 flavors each. I mean, Dove soap. I never knew Dove made that many different types of Dove soap. I mean, different fragrances, different skin types, you know, oily on your head but dry on your feet, elbows need lotion, and I don't know, I don't eat meat, whatever. They have so many choices of everything. It was absolutely mind-boggling because I got to the point where I wanted to really buy something, but I was so overwhelmed with the selection. I'm like, I don't even know what to pick now. And so then my head was hurting. And I was like, I gotta go home. Y'all got too much stuff. It's a lot. This is not right. That's not right. See, the inside of your mango should be a bright orange like that. It shouldn't be yellow. I mean, unripe mangoes have their place in cooking as well. Okay, because you can dehydrate unripe mangoes, turn it into a powder. I know I got a juicy, fat, juicy ripe mango somewhere because I bought this yesterday. Here we go. The last one. So this store, the Lulu, it's called the Lulu Hyper Market. I've never seen such a selection. And see, the Lulu, not only that, the Lulu is Costco, Target, Whole Foods, and Walmart put together. Costco, Walmart, Target, and Whole Foods put together, okay? That's what the Lulu hypermarket is like. Now, the Lulu also has a supermarket. The Lulu also has a Lulu. So you got Lulu, Lulu supermarket, Lulu hypermarket, and you also have a Lulu cafe. I didn't go in the cafe, but the cafe was like a stone's throw from my apartment, but I didn't go in. I don't know what the Lulu cafe was about, but I'm sure it was really nice in there, but I didn't go in. But yeah, the first night there, I was scared. I was like, where are all the women? Where are they hiding the women? All I see is men walking around. What's going on? And so I went into the store, and there were all the women in the store. The only woman that I saw out on the street that night, it was a woman, and she had a little girl with a little girl, might have been about 8 or 9 years old, and it looked like it was her mother and father with her. And they were going into this fabric store. That was the only woman I saw outside. But then when I got to the Lulu, that's when I saw, okay, here's where the women are. I don't know why I got so nervous about that, but I did. So I go into the Lulu, I'm overwhelmed. They have so much to pick from. I mean, if you think Costco has an abundance, and I don't think Costco really has an abundance, because Costco, they changed their, the products that they sell every so often. So you'll go into Costco one day and find the scrub brush, okay? And then in 2 weeks' time, they don't carry that scrub brush no more. Ever. And that's the one thing I don't like about Costco, because when I find things that I like there, I want to be able to go back and get it. Now, I've been told even if you can't get it in the store, you can buy it online. But I'm the type of person, I want to go in the store, I want to touch it, I want to feel it, I want to look at it, and I don't want anybody to bring it to the house. I don't want, no. I don't want that. So, yeah, the Lulu was a real Lulu. It was really a Lulu. So I enjoyed their supermarket. Listen, the mangoes there, I couldn't bring any home. You cannot bring fruit. You cannot bring any food home. Unless maybe it's like stuff that's preserved, like chocolates, and you can bring stuff like that. But as far as bringing meat or bringing fruits, vegetables, things like that, flowers, you can't do it. They don't allow it. They ask you at customs, do you have anything to claim? And you have to say yes. If you bought something, you have to say, yeah, I got something to claim. I'm claiming that I bought this, I bought that, and they want to see it. Especially if it's food. And if it's food, they don't even need to see it. They just want you to hand it over. You cannot take it with you. They will not let you take it with you. Want me to tell you how I know? Because I thought I bought some mangoes with me, and I didn't. I actually left them back at the apartment. And so when I went through customs, they were like, okay, do you want to claim anything? I was like, yeah, I got these mangoes. And they were like, okay, well, you're going to have to go this way. And you have to walk down this long hallway. It's not too long, but it's a long hallway. And there's glass on both sides. People on this side, people on this side. And I know they're looking at me like, ooh, what's she do? She's got to walk she's got to walk down that hallway, So they sent me down the hall. And so the guy is like, okay, so what are you claiming? They said, well, I can't take the mangoes with me. And so he said, okay, well, give me the mangoes. So I started going through my bag and I couldn't find them. And then I was like, oh no. I said, I think I left the mangoes back in Doha. You know what this man said to me? He said, this was at Dulles Airport, so I can talk shit because I'm at home now. He says to me, so why you waste my time? I said, excuse me? Waste my time? I mean, waste your time. I'm the one that stood in the Okay. All right, let me check. Let me just check because I've been through this before. My phone was ringing and I declined the call. Refrigerator's open. Refrigerator's off. Turn the refrigerator back on. But let me just make sure we're still good because I've been through this before where I've gotten phone calls and then afterwards y'all can't hear me. So let me just check and make sure we're good. Hang on. I hope we're good. YouTube. And when I turn on that do not disturb thing, I still get phone calls coming through. I don't understand. Okay. Library. I don't even see me live. Okay. Everything fresh and sassy. Everything fresh and sassy. Okay. My TV is slow. My TV is slow. Okay. My TV is slow. Okay. Be good. All right. So the guy said to me, when I told him I think I left them back at the apartment, he said, so why you waste my time? I said, excuse me? I said, I'm the one that stood in that customs line for over an hour. You're getting paid to do what you do. I'm not getting paid for standing in that line for 1 hour. My time was wasted. Excuse you. Yeah. So I got out of line and I went on about my business. Because he was like, basically like, get out of here. And I was like, I got lipstick on my key. Hold on. Every time I wear this lipstick, it bleeds onto my teeth, and I don't know why I keep putting it on. Do that. That should work. Okay. I think we're done there. So, anyway, that was the issue at customs here, stateside. I didn't have any problems. Well, I had a little bit. Yeah, I had a problem in immigration when I got to Doha. And it was just a bunch of, I don't know, misunderstandings. If you go to Google right now and put in, do you need a visa to visit Doha, it's going to say, no, you don't. As long as you're staying under 90 days, you do not need a visa to stay in Doha. Google it. You'll see. So, you know, I did my research. I did my homework. I did what I was supposed to be doing. But when I got there, guess who needed a visa? Now, it should have only taken me every bit of 3 minutes to get that visa, if that long. But I didn't have any reals. All I had was US dollars. I had to change my US dollars into reals, then purchase a debit card for 20 bucks. They got me. They got me. So, any hoosters, it took me a while to get all that done because the girl, once I got the card, she said the card wasn't working. And I had to go get the guy that sold me the card because he's sitting right there in the bank, you know, not 30 feet away from her. And now she's saying the card doesn't work. And I just purchased the card, so I asked him to go with me. And he was acting like he didn't want to go, but he did go. And he said, listen, there's nothing wrong with the card. I just sold it to her. So the problem was, and I think it was new, the problem was she didn't have any tape in her receipt machine, and she couldn't get a receipt. So she thought that the card wasn't working. The card was working. It's just that she needed tape in her machine, and she didn't know that. That was the problem. And then she got mad at me and sent me to another line. I said, man, why are you making me? And she said, well, you have to get in that line over there. And there were like 5 or 6 people in that line. And I'm like, but ma'am, I'm already standing here with you. Why are you going to send me to go stand in line again? So then once the girl told her, you need tape in your machine, she got tape, and then she printed my receipt, and I was able to go. But, you know. But you know what? I want you to know. I handled it with grace and charm. Why? Because I'm in a foreign country. I don't know how serious they get when there's an altercation or a problem, but I wanted to go back home at the end of my vacation, so I was just as sweet and just as kind and considerate as I could be. And I said, you know what? Whatever happens, it's just going to be a part of the experience, and that's what it's going to be. I was not going to get upset. I was not going to get mad. I'm in somebody else's house. I'm not going to be over here showing I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to do it. Okay? I was not going to cause myself a problem in another country. And I can be a little bit of a hothead, and I don't want to be a hothead. That's the other reason why I needed to get away. Because, you know, I just felt like sometimes I'm just so quick to snap. You know, somebody look at me wrong, somebody say something to me, I'm just ready to respond. And I don't want to be like that because I didn't used to be like this. You know, as a child coming up, I got like this when I want to say, I started getting a little feisty in high school. But prior to that, I was a pushover. You could say anything to me, you could do anything to me, and I wouldn't say anything. And then I found out, you know, if I didn't like the way somebody was approaching me or speaking to me, I found out I could have pasted them in the eye if I wanted to. See? I didn't know these things. Nobody taught me that. Nobody said this to me. Why are you guys so mushy? But it's yellow. Smells good. All right, I'm not going to throw it away. I'm just going to put it in the refrigerator. So I didn't know. And then when I found out, I guess I became like this. I wasn't a loose cannon. I don't think I was ever that. But I was a bit sassy. And then as I've gotten older, I just feel like I've been here too long to be putting up with somebody else's foolishness and just let people talk to me any kind of way without me saying something. But here's what I'm learning. I don't have to respond to everything. I don't have to have an answer for every insult or slight. I don't have to say anything. I was listening to this guy, and he was saying, you know, when people are talking all that ish, just be quiet. Be quiet, because see, they're giving up who they really are. And oftentimes it's somebody who's really scared, lonely, unhappy, sad, mad, whatever. Just let them talk. Let them say whatever they need to say. You know, it's not until, you know, somebody gets physical, then that's a different story. Okay, that's a different story. But when people are just running their mouth, let them run their mouth. They can say whatever they want. I know my name and address. And I hope I know my next address. Okay? I know my name and address, so I don't need to be out here in the street arguing with nobody or fussing with nobody. Okay, you cut me off. Okay, I hope you get to where you got to go to safe and sound. Because I've had it where people have past me and cut me off, and then I get down the road a piece, and now they're involved in a 3-car accident. Yeah, yeah, yeah. See, and I've also learned that Yahweh will take care of his own. Mm-hmm. I don't have to say nothing. Listen, it's happening right now. Somebody I was at odds with, okay? They just got caught up in some stuff. They just got caught up in some stuff. And I'm talking about putting their hands on somebody else's child. This is not a family member or a friend that I know, but I saw it happen. And I'm like, ooh wee, that couldn't have been my child, because right now I would be in jail. And I mean, the way this man, hey, grabbed this boy and shook him and then took him down to, I can't say the rest. I mean, that couldn't have been me. Mm-mm. And then held the child in their home and wouldn't let the child out when the mama got there. How you gonna hold my child in your house? I will tear that house down brick by brick, stone by stone, 4 by 4 by 4 by 4, okay? You gonna let my... I can't even think about things like that because it just gets me excited and upset. And I have been calm. I've been another person since I've come back. I have been calm, cool, and collected. And every now and then I might feel like, I might just want to let loose. And I'm like, we're not doing that. No. Because I had a wonderful vacation. And I was peaceful while I was there. And I'm going to remain peaceful here. And that's just the way it's going to be. While I was there was nothing to get upset about. While I was there, I was not faced with any adversity or challenges or somebody acting up because they didn't get 2 slices of cheese on their cheeseburger, or because the ice cream machine wasn't working at the McDonald's. I didn't have to, none of that. Nobody over there is falling out in the store and having hissy fits because they couldn't get the pink drawers that was on sale at Victoria's Secret. Nobody is over there in your business, in your face, talking about what you doing or what you got. Nobody over there is minding anybody else's business. Everybody over there is taking care of their family, their needs, and everybody is just cool and copacetic. I'm telling you, it is peaceful. They're minding their business. What we have here, mashed banana mango, vanilla extract, lemon extract, and pumpkin spice. I think y'all have seen me make this before. It goes on the stove, and I set the stove on 2. It's going to look like it's not cooking, and that's because it's going to slow stew. We are slowly stewing the bananas and the mangoes. This is going to increase the amount of sugar. And one time I cooked it a little too long, and it was so doggone sweet, I had to throw it away. I couldn't eat it. Because I know I would have been in trouble that night with those muscle cramps if I had eaten all that sugar. So I threw it away. My daughter couldn't even eat it, and she loves sweets. She was like, Ma, I can't eat that. So, anyway, it's peaceful there. People are minding their business. They're enjoying their family. The men go out at night and smoke their pipes. They have their tea, and, the women, they have their little get-togethers, and it's just community and family. And people just living, a peaceful life. And the one thing I said I wasn't going to miss was Fajr, which is the first morning prayer. You know, have you ever seen on TV how in the Middle East they'll turn on the speakers, the loudspeakers, and someone is singing a prayer? Because this is a Muslim country, right? And it's Muslim. Don't say Muslim. That's insulting when you say that to them. Don't say Muslim. That was meant to be an insult, and it is an insult. It's Muslim, not Muslim. So you heard it from me, and if I hear you say it, I know you said it to be insulting. So don't do it. Don't do it. Very respectful people, you know? Very respectful. So, but anyway, what else can I tell you? I went to the souk 3 times. I had a ball. There are cats everywhere. It's like in the islands, there's dogs. But the Middle East, they got cats. Cats everywhere. And I had to break up a fight one night because they was out there fighting. And they was like, you know how cats be screaming when they fight? And I mean, they was... I'm like, who taught y'all how to fight? I mean, they was really fighting. Like people. And then one got the other one down on the ground and bit him in the neck. I was like, now just wait a minute. Just wait one darn minute. Y'all gonna knock this off. Oh yeah, there's cats everywhere. What else can I tell you? Oh, the weather. Okay? It's hot there during the day, but listen, in the evening, it cools off. It goes down to about 98, 99 in the evening. Yeah, it cools off. But let me tell you about the weather. For someone who is anemic, they might enjoy that weather. And I still have a little bit of anemia going on every now and then where I'm cold and I feel like I can't get warm, even in the summertime. So it was a welcome change for me. And when I'm telling you right now that I'm scared for October and November because I know it's going to be cold and I don't do well in the cold anymore. I was born in Anchorage, Alaska, but I don't do well in the cold anymore. I used to have my air conditioner on and the window open with snow on the ground. And my mother and I used to fight like cats and dogs because she was like, turn the air conditioner off, shut the window. What are you doing? I don't know what the problem was back then, but I would have the air conditioner on and the window open. I was a different kind of child. A little bit. I have not eaten today. I'm so hungry. And I need to put this meat in the oven. What do I do first? Put the meat in the oven because that's got to cook for at least 4 or 5 hours. I went to Costco today and I was going to buy some steaks. And the steaks were $100. I was like, what the heck? So, there's always a way around. Instead of me standing there complaining about how much the steak costs, I just went and looked for some more beef, and this is what I got. A beef bottom round at Costco. Cook it for 5 to 6 hours. You can garlic it down with fresh garlic, put onions in the pot, whatever, vegetables you want. And, yeah. This was $81, and this is 14 pounds. And let me tell you something. This 14-pound piece of meat could be cut into quarters, and you still have a nice size roast in each one of those quarters, okay? So that would have been like $20 per roast. So you take a little bit of the roast, you make some ground beef with it. You got some hamburgers, you got meatballs. You take another portion of the roast, you got a roast. You take another portion, you can cut it up into little steaks if you want to. You got a meat slicer, cut up some shabu-shabu. I mean, come on now. We're not going to stand in the store, bitch, moan, complain, and cry when we can do something different. It's like people was complaining about the price of eggs. Okay, all right, the price of eggs is high. So what? I don't buy eggs this month. I wait till the price comes down, I go buy something else. Price of eggs is $12 for 12 eggs? Okay, no problem. I'll go buy some chicken. Do you really eat that many eggs? I don't. Nobody in my house eats that many eggs. I don't think anybody eats that many eggs. Do you eat eggs every day? Do you have to have eggs every day? No. Go buy some chicken legs. You can get a pack of 12 chicken legs for $8. $8. And you worried about eggs? See, I don't, sometimes I don't understand people's mindset. They get stuck on one bad thing. It's like, don't be stuck on something like that, you know? Find something else to do. The price of eggs is high, find something else to do. Find something else to eat. You know? I don't get it. So, but that is 14 pounds of meat right there. And I can do so many different things with it. I'm thinking right now, should I cook the whole thing or should I cut it up? I think I should cut it in half. Cut half tonight. Make some ground beef out of the rest. No, I'm just going to cook the whole thing because I don't feel like doing all that. But I'm just saying, this is what you do. And this was $81. So $20 per section. And I mean, if you have if you take one section, 1/4 of this, and use it as a roast, that roast should last you for at least 3 or 4 meals. If you take another section and make hamburgers, meatballs, that's 3 or 4 more meals. Okay? So that's 8 meals so far. And then you still got the other half, another 3 or 4 meals on both parts. So 4 times 4, 16 meals out of this one piece of beef. It's worth paying $81. You're set for the whole, I mean, that's like, this is enough beef for 1 month. You understand what I'm saying? So don't get stuck on the fact that it costs $81. The fact is, you probably won't have to go back to the store and buy any more beef until next month. Unless y'all just, you know, horking down the food like that. But people see $81, I'm like, I can't pay $81. Yes, you can. You spend that much in gas, getting back and forth, running to the store every other day to buy foolishness, you know, that's really not good for you. Ooh. Didn't mean for that to happen. Life is sharp. Give me. So, but yeah, Doha is, oh, the weather. That's what I was telling you about. It's, the hottest it was there while I was there was about 126 degrees one day. And I thought, well, you know, I'm cold all the time. It's not going to bother me, yada, yada, yada. I almost fell out. I was at the museum. No, I was not. I was at the Qatar, I was at the Katara, Katara. I was at the Katara. And at the Katara, you have all these different like museums and places you can go in and see about their history and all these different nice things, right? And you have to walk in between the buildings, and you have to go outside to walk in between the buildings. There's no inside passageway. And so I went in one building, I looked around, I came out, I went to go look at another building, and by this time I'm like, I can't go outside again. I can't do it. But I had drank both bottles of my water, and I was like, I gotta get some water. So I'm looking for the canteen or someplace where I can buy something to drink, and they're like, yeah, you gotta go out here and walk down there. And that's the way they give directions there. Oh, it's over there. Where's the water? Over there. Not down aisle 9 on the left or anything like that. Or would you like me to show you, you know? But I think if I had asked somebody to show me, they would have, but that's just the way they give directions. So I went into the second building. By this time, I needed water. I was hot. I went back outside, and it felt like someone had lit a blowtorch and put it on my skin. My skin was burning. I was like, oh my gosh. So I found somewhere to get some water, but I'm like, I can't stay here anymore, because if I got to walk building to building, I can't do this. So I said, let me call an Uber. I called the Uber, and I knew I had to stay out there and wait for it. and there's no place really in the shade where I could go. But there was this golf cart, and you know, they got cameras everywhere. Everybody's watching, you know, what are you doing? What are you doing over there? What are you doing over here? You know, and so I sat down on this golf cart, and this guy walks up, and I'm like, I know he's not going to say nothing. I know he's not going to say nothing. I know he's not going to say anything. And he didn't say anything. He came and he looked. He turned around and he went back. I was like, look, I'm an old lady. I'm an old lady. Don't bother this old lady. Just let me sit here and drink my water. Because that's all I want to do is drink water and mind my business. 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 That's all I wanted to do. So he left me to sit there, and about a minute or two later, my Uber came, and I left, and I went back home, and I turned the air conditioner all the way up. Oh, and then I made a mess out of the apartment. Did I tell y'all this in the video that I made? I made a mess in the apartment. So when I got to the apartment that night, it was freezing in the apartment. It had to have been every bit of 50 degrees in there. It was freezing. So I turned the air off. And I'm in the apartment for about 3 hours, and I'm like, dang, it's still freezing in here. Why is it still so cold? And so I went in the bedroom, and I said, oh, there's another air conditioning unit in here, in the bedroom. So I turned off the air conditioning unit in the bedroom. And when I got up that morning, it was still freezing. I said, oh my goodness, I can't do this. Why is it still so cold in here? The air has been off. Both of them have been off all night long. So I'm so smart. I decided, even though it was so cold inside, I decided I was going to open the balcony doors. The hot air from outside, 126 degrees. The cold air from inside, the 46 degrees. They meet up and they start making condensation. There was water running down the walls. There was water running down the cabinets, and I haven't figured it out yet. I'm like, why is there water running down the walls, and why is everything wet? Why is the floor wet? So here comes housekeeping. And they're like, yes, can we clean your room today? I said, well, I really don't need anything. I said, I've already made my bed. I said, but if you could bring me some towels, that would be nice, and just take the trash, I'm good. So the guy comes in, and he looks, and he says, you have the balcony door open. I said, yes. And then in that moment, I knew it was me that caused all that water. I felt I didn't know. I didn't know that would happen. If I had known that was going to happen, I wouldn't have done that, you know? So that's what had happened. So he came in and he brought me towels, took the trash, and mopped the floor and bid me a good day. And I thanked him. So, yeah. But anyway, I like the weather there. That one day where it was 126 degrees, I didn't like it. And then, I was watching videos about Doha. And if you watch videos about people who have visited Doha, it's like, why is there no one outside? Where are the people at? Most of the videos of people in Doha, you don't see too many people outside other than the person making the video. And I'm like, where are the people at? And when I got to the airport, I'm like, where are the people at? You saw the video. There was no one. Everybody was downstairs on the departure side. That's where everybody likes to go because they got all the, it's a huge, ridiculous, not ridiculous, but it's massive, the mall down there. And they got everything. And it's tax-free, and it's not very expensive. So, like I said, there's not many people on the street, and that's because it's so hot. The people that live there, they don't start moving around until 4 p.m. in the afternoon. That's when people start moving around. By then, the temperature is coming down. I wouldn't venture out until like maybe 4, maybe 5 o'clock because the sun is still up. Some people actually wait until the sun goes down. So because of that, banks don't open until like 12 o'clock, 2 o'clock in the afternoon, and then they don't close until 9, 10, 11 o'clock at night. Grocery stores stay open very late. They don't stay open overnight like we have here that I know of, but they might, because they also have restaurants there in Doha, and some restaurants stay open until midnight, and then you have other restaurants that stay open until midnight, and then you have other restaurants that are open 24/7. So you can get a meal any time of the day or night you want one. Ooh, this is heavy. Oh, that pan isn't big enough. Darn. Okay. That's all right. That is okay. I got another pan. I'll just season it here. So, yeah. It's very hot there, and people don't come out until, after, around 4 o'clock or so. And I was very comfortable there. I was walking to the store at 1 o'clock in the morning. 12 o'clock in the morning, I'm walking to the store from my apartment. And I asked the young lady at the desk, I said, I just need to get some water because I was out of water. And I cannot be without water. I have to have water. I have to have water. I would have panicked if I had to go the entire night without water. So I asked the young lady, I said, is it safe for me to walk to the store? Because the store was just across the street. I mean, it took me all of 4 minutes to walk to the store, if that long. So I said, is it safe for me to walk to the store? And she said, perfectly safe at any time of day or night. I said, okay, I believe you. I don't know if you're trying to set me up, but I believe you. But no, I was safe. And everyone kept saying, it's safe there. It's safe. It's safe. It's safe. I kept my head on a swivel. I'm not, I have some measured level of concern. But I was safe. And I enjoyed walking to the store at 1 o'clock in the morning. I mean, and that one night that I came and I didn't see any women on the street, there were women walking around on the street, not walking around on the street. If a woman was walking down the street, she was walking with purpose and she had somewhere to go and she was getting there and, so yeah. Nobody was lollygagging or doing anything they shouldn't have been doing. But the weather there, not only is it hot, but on most days, and I appreciate this part, on most days it is very humid. And I don't get why people complain about humidity. I don't understand. It's that dry heat that damages your skin. It's that dry heat that wrinkles your skin. It's that dry heat that burns your skin. Okay? And I can remember when I was a little girl, people buying these steam machines. You put water in it and then you stick your face in it and you get a steam facial. I'm like, well, if you get a steam facial, what's the problem with it being humid outside? If people sit in a hot sauna and pour water over the hot rocks in the sauna, what's the problem with the humidity outside? I think people just want to complain sometimes. But humidity is good for the skin. It keeps it soft and supple, But I enjoyed the heat. I enjoyed the humidity. And I also appreciated the breeze. Because even though it was hot, that breeze would cool you down and make you feel a whole lot better standing out there in the sun. But I didn't spend too much time out in the sun, I always waited till around 4 or 5 o'clock, and then I came out. And I was good. I loved the humidity. I loved the breeze. It was nice. It was very nice. What else can I tell you? The weather. You know, riding around in the Uber, you either got one or the other. You got someone who wanted to tell you everything about Doha, Qatar. You should go here, you should go there. Check this out. Have you been here yet? You know, or you got someone who is just, and that's okay. Because sometimes I don't feel like talking. And when I don't feel like talking, I don't want nobody else talking. If I don't feel like talking, I don't want you talking. Oh, wait, hold on. Let me just make sure. Hold on. Okay. But yeah, that's how I am. That's how I am. I still haven't had anything to eat, and I'm hungry. I'm really hungry. Take the spoon. There we go. I'm keeping it simple, salt, pepper, and garlic. Not even curry powder. Not even well, we might do some paprika. We might do a little paprika. Paprika. I love paprika. It adds such a, I don't know, I don't want to say earthiness. I think that's been overused in terms of speaking of foods. What else can I tell you about Doha? Oh, flying out there, I wanted a window seat. Can I get a window seat? Don't want nobody next to me. I wanted a window seat, and I got a window seat, right? You're supposed to check in and pick your seat, right? So I picked my seat. And then I hope nobody sits. And when I picked my seat, there were 3 seats. The window seat, the middle seat, and the aisle seat. So I picked one row that nobody had picked, and it was just me by the window. And I said, please don't let anybody pick the middle or the aisle seat. Let me have this whole row to myself so I can stretch out. Sure enough, those 2 seats got picked. And I couldn't understand it because there were seats in front of me, like 3 rows of seats in front of me where nobody had picked seats. And I'm like, why did they pick these 2 seats right here when they could have picked 2 seats in this row over here where no one had picked any? Or the next row where nobody had picked. I'm like, oh my gosh, what is it? You know? So I changed my seating again. Or I should say I changed my seating for the second time. I did the same thing. I got a window seat and 2 more people came and put their reservation seats next to mine. And I'm like, why? There were seats open. Why? Why did they do this? What's up, Mama? I'm making a video. They're in the bag, if that's what you're looking for. No, look in the blue bag on the floor. Is that what you wanted? Mm-hmm. Okay. You want some water? Yeah. All I got is tropical punch. You want that? Oh, you want that one? It's not cold. You want a cold one? You just got out of the shower? No. You want pear or tropical punch? Tropical. You're welcome, darling. So, I couldn't understand. It happened the second time. So I changed my seat again for the 3rd time. And I got lucky. Because the guy that sat next to me, well, he didn't sit next to me. He was in the chair. I was at the window seat. The middle seat was left open, and then there was a guy who sat on the aisle seat. It was a guy from Ghana. I had no problems with my seatmate. He was, you know, we had an understanding. We had an understanding, and it was cool. He was very polite, very considerate. I had no problems with my seatmate whatsoever. Can I take these gloves off? Because this is the last pair of gloves. So, my flight back, I did the same thing. I chose a seat by the window. Two people came and chose seats right next to me because I went back and looked at the legend and I saw somebody had took those two. I was like, oh my gosh, here we go again. So then I chose another seat, but this time I chose a seat on the aisle because when we flew over to Doha, I did have to ask that young man to get up a number of times because Granny, her bladder, and I got to go. Can you get up, please? Sorry. So I said, I don't want to do that to the next person who gets on. I'm going to take an aisle seat this time. So I took the aisle seat and I said, this time I'm not even going to check and see if anybody is sitting next to me, or I said, because at this point, I am so calm, cool, collected, and relaxed. I could care less if they had to put Bozo and his mama next to me. It would not have mattered to me. I was so cool, calm, and collected at the end of that flight. It did not, at the end of my trip, it didn't matter. And I said, I'm not even going to check. If someone sits next to me, they sit next to me. But I got lucky again. I think this guy, he was a young guy. I don't think he could have been any more than 25 years old. And maybe 30. And I don't know where he was from. I don't know if he was from Doha or if he had a layover in Doha, but he was flying to the United States, to Dulles Airport. And he got off when I got off. Everybody has to get off. But anyway, he got off when I got off. But I don't know where he was from. I thought he might have been from an African country. Maybe he came from somewhere in Africa, and his layover was at Doha to continue on to the United States. That might have been it. I don't know. But I thought I was going to have a problem with this young man. I really did. I thought we was going to have to get security. Because every time I turned around, he was... And then he's on his phone, and he's not really facing me, but he's kind of turned askew a little bit. And I'm like... And the flash kept going off on his phone. And I'm like, is this boy sitting over here taking pictures of me? What is he doing? Why does the flash keep going off? And I don't know what it was. Oh, the person he was talking to somebody on his phone. The person he was talking to, he started signing, and I was like, oh wow, I feel so bad. Because I was ready to lay in and let have, because I thought he was taking pictures of me. And I'm like, why is he doing that? You know, look. Because it's about to be a problem. I didn't know what was going on. But that was his way of getting attention. And I don't know if he spoke English or not, because after we pulled off, I was looking at my phone and I saw that they had, attacked Doha. And so I showed it to him. There was a video, and there was no one talking. It was just words on the teleprompter. And so I showed it to him, and I don't think he understood it. Because he, I just leaned over and I said, I tapped him and showed him the phone. He was like, I don't think he understood. So something else happened, and I was asking him a question, but this time instead of asking or, whatever, I wrote it in Arabic. And he understood what I was saying then. And I said, okay, he speaks Arabic because he knew what I was saying. So maybe he wasn't from Africa, or maybe he was from Africa and he understood Arabic. I don't know. I don't know where this child was from. But he was a very polite young man. And when he got his food, he was worried about me. And he was like, you don't want to eat your food? And I was like, no, I brought my own food. I'm okay. I was like, you want it? He was like, yeah. was like, you can have it. All I did was he saw me. I opened it and then I sealed it right back up. And he was sitting at the window seat. The center seat was open, and just like when I flew out there, the guy that was sitting next to me, we had some of our junk in the center seat. You know, we were sharing the center seat. And so this flight coming back home, I was sharing the center seat with this young guy. And he had some of his stuff in the chair. I had some of my stuff in the chair. And then I had the table down, and when I opened the food, I pulled the tray down, and I just put the food that I didn't want on that tray. So he saw me, and, you know, he knew I didn't, you know, do anything to it or touch it or anything. So, but he wanted it. I said, you can have it. And you get 2 meals and a snack for that long of a flight with Qatar Airlines. So I gave him my snacks, and I gave him both my meals because I had food. I had plenty of food. I had so much food I didn't even eat all. I had baked salmon, collard greens, and I had steak and collard greens, and I had my banana mango pudding. So I was good. I was good. Now I think the food that you get in first class is different from what you get in economy, which is where I was. But you know. Airline food. But I think you get a different grade of food up in first class from what I've heard. That's what I've heard. But I was perfectly fine because as long as I can bring my own food, honey, I'm in heaven. I'm in heaven! I was just fine. So, what time is it? Oh my goodness. I said I wasn't going to be here but an hour, so I got to go. I'm going to cut up this garlic. I poked some deep holes into the meat. And we are going to push the garlic down into those holes. I really wanted to have this meat in the oven by 1 o'clock, but I didn't get home until 3. But that's okay. I can make something else for dinner for us to eat tonight. That'll be really quick. And then we can eat this tomorrow. And even after I cook this, I'm not going to leave it all out. I'm going to put some of it in the freezer because there's no way we're going to eat this whole thing in 3 days. And I don't keep food over 3 days. If it's got to be kept for over 3 days, then what I do is freeze it. So I can get real heavy-handed with the seasoning, but I didn't do that. I'm keeping it simple. It's just salt and pepper. And then I have this garlic. And I'm just going to take the garlic. And we're just going to take it and push it down into the meat. You know what? I'm going to put my gloves back on. I got some more gloves. I don't want that. I don't want anything under my fingernails, so I have to get a pair of gloves. Okay, cool. I don't want to open these gloves though because they're small. They are a size small, and I meant to take them back to Costco. Went to Costco and left the gloves here. I didn't even pay attention to the size when I bought them. I pay attention to these things. I hope I can get them on because my hands are not small. Wow. That's tight. So I'm just taking the garlic and stuffing it in the meat. I'm going to cover it with some foil. And then it's going in the oven for about 4 to 5 hours on 325 degrees. If you cook your beef like this is bottom round. If you cook it at 400 or higher, the meat is going to seize up. It's going to be tough. So you want to cook it low and nice and slow. And that will ensure you a juicy and tender piece of beef. Something that'll be easy to cut, easy to chew. What can I make for dinner tonight that'll be quick? I can make a quiche. And some grits. Did I put any there? No. How about there? How about here? Just load it up with garlic. Just load it up. Even if you put a piece in there, put some more. And the garlic is going to melt into like a butter. It's going to turn to like a garlic butter. It's going to be soft like butter when it gets heated up and hot. Oh, it is so hard to work with these gloves on. Goodness gracious, they are tight. But I enjoyed my time in Doha. I will be back. I will be back. But that's why I flew to Doha, because I had made travel arrangements, and if I had canceled that ticket, I would have either had to pay, I would have lost money if I had canceled the ticket, put it that way. And then it cost me money to change my ticket just to stay in Doha instead of leave Doha to go to Thailand. So I'd rather pay a little bit than to lose everything. And like I said, it was the rainy season, or it still is the rainy season, I should say, in Thailand, and I was going for the beach. And if I had gone there and it had rained the entire time, I would have been one sad puppy. That's a lot of garlic. That's a whole lot. I mean, the garlic is oozing out now. But that's okay. You can never have too much garlic. I think I'm going to cut up another clove. But anyway, I got to go. I said I'd only be here for an hour. I appreciate you hanging out. I see a couple of people there. Thank you very much. Appreciate you. So, I do have videos that I have been working on every day. This is why I don't like to edit. I do not like to edit. It takes me too long. It takes me too long because I'll go back and look at it and be like, no, cut that out. Well, why are your words cut off here? No, find the clip and insert it again because you cut yourself. I'm tired of editing. I don't want to edit. I just want to put a video out and it just be what it is, you know? Ouch. I'll show you what it looks like before I put it in. And then maybe, I'll come back later and show you what it looks like when I take it out. But see, I put holes in it. See the garlic in there? I stuffed it with little pieces of garlic. I really think I should do more, but I'm running behind. So, it's just going to have to be what it is. I feel like I should add more seasoning. I feel like I should put onions in here and everything else. I got to. I how do you put a roast in the oven and you don't at least put onions? And I don't eat potatoes. At least I don't eat white potatoes. So I gotta do at least onions since I don't do white potatoes. Do I have any more onions? I only got one onion. I only have, oh, here's another one. We go through onions around here like I don't know what. Hi. I'm tired and I'm hungry. I've had nothing. You know what? I want to tell you I had nothing to eat, but I was up at 3 a.m. this morning eating. I woke up at 3 o'clock this morning and I went downstairs and fixed myself not one plate, but 2 plates of food. I had collard greens and I had red cabbage on one plate. And then on the other plate, I had a piece of chicken. They were small plates, so I couldn't get the chicken on the other plate, so I had put so many vegetables on there, so I had to get another small plate. It was a plate like this, and I had cabbage and collard greens on this plate, and I had another plate like this with a chicken thigh on it. And that's what I ate at 3 o'clock this morning. And when I went back upstairs, it was about 4:15 a.m. And I just went on to sleep. Oh, I meant to tell you, I knew I was on to something. The people in Doha, Qatar, I was told, they don't eat dinner until 10 or 11 o'clock at night. And those people over there are not all heavy and overweight and all of that. They don't eat until 10 or 11 o'clock at night. I knew I was on to something because we be eating about that time around here a lot. I try not to because, I've been told this, I've been told that, but, we've been told a lot of things and we've been lied to about a lot of things, And this is why people are suffering today. Somebody told them something and they believed it. Now they're suffering and they don't know how to get out of it. Some people don't even know that the way that they're living is causing them problems. They don't even know it. And you can't tell them. Matter of fact, when I was a kid, there were 4 meals. There was breakfast, lunch, dinner, and supper. And you ate supper around 8 or 9 o'clock at night. But then somewhere along the line, supper got cut out and it was just dinner. And they were telling us that dinner should be eaten around 6 o'clock. No food after 6. And like I said, we've been told so many things. We've been lied to about so many things. If it worked for you and yours, go on and do it. My husband's still losing weight. I bought him some new clothes. And this man is still walking around with a belt and his pants gathered all up like this all around. Because he's still losing weight. I'm like, I just bought you those clothes it was January, I think, when I bought him those clothes. Well, it's been, 7 months, but, if I could get him to exercise a little bit more, it would be good, but, the fact that he's losing weight, that's a good thing. Anywho, I got onion in there now. I can't do carrots. They're too sweet for me. I don't think anybody here. Well, my husband asked for some carrots one time. He might like carrots in here, but I don't have any. Because one day he asked me for some soup, and he said he wanted carrots in it, so I think he likes carrots. But anyway, I'm going to get off of here because I said I was going to only be here for an hour, and it has been an hour and 20 minutes. All right, so my phone died. But I'm not moving on the TV. Let's see, hold on. All right, what's happening on the television? Okay, there we go. It froze because, okay, yeah, the phone died. So anyway, I put the meat in the oven. Away the salt and the pepper. And I'm going to make spanakopita to go with the beef tonight. But I'm not going to use the phyllo because I can't tolerate that. And it's just not good to be eating flour, especially flour with the baking soda stuff in it, because that causes some issues with the insulin and the sugar and all of that. So it's just things that I have to avoid. If you can eat it, I'm glad for you. I cannot. And I encourage my family not to because it's not good for them. But I do encourage them to have some sugar on the weekends because you really should have some, according to Dr. Berg. So instead of using the phyllo dough, I'm going to be using these almond tortillas to make my spanakopita. Don't get me wrong, I love that phyllo dough. It's amazing. It's really good. I like it, but it don't like me. So I've got 2 big boxes of spinach, but you know that don't mean nothing. Because you can cook these 2 boxes of spinach, but you're only going to have this much spinach after you cook this, right? So I got to have an onion to go with the spinach. And I got to have some dill to go with that. And I got to have some feta cheese to go with that. And that's going to be my spanakopita filling when I get back, because I need to run across the street for about 2 minutes and then come back, and then I got to get on a phone call. This is why I must go, because I have a call I need to get on, which might bring some good news. And if it does, I might share, and then I might not. Anyway, this is I Am Everything Fresh and Sassy. If you need to go take time and breathe, if things around you are just a little bit more than what you're accustomed to and it's having a negative impact on you, go talk to somebody. Get out the country for a little while. Go on vacation. Go lay out on the beach. Go contemplate your belly button on the beach for a few days. Don't listen to the news. Don't turn on the radio. Just quiet your mind. Take care of yourself. I'll see you when I see you. Sawubona, M guy.